I'm not seeing the live on YouTube. Yeah, it's available now. I'm not seeing the live on YouTube. Yeah,
What
it's
about
available now.
Instagram and
I'm
also
not
Facebook?
seeing
Can you
the
also check the links?
live on YouTube. Yeah,
What
it's
about
available now.
Instagram? Ah, okay. So, and
I'm
also
not
Facebook.
seeing
Can you
the
also check the links?
live on YouTube. Yeah,
What
it's
about
available now.
Instagram? Ah, okay. So, and also Facebook. Can you also check the links? What about Instagram?
Brother,
Ah, okay. So, yes,
Already admit all the participants. I'm gonna take care of the participants as well, right? Brother,
yes.
Already admit all count on me, brother. Participants. I'm gonna take
Thank
care of
you.
the participants as well, right? Brother.
Yes,
And Sister Nasima, later we will have another talk.
thank you.
What, Hanafi?
And Sister Nasima, later we will have another talk. Later we will have another talk.
Inshallah.
What,
Let's finish
Hanafi?
this event, inshallah, then we will
Later
talk.
we will have another talk. Later we will have another talk.
Inshallah.
What,
Let's finish
Hanafi?
this event, inshallah, then we will talk.
Later we will have another talk.
Okay,
Inshallah.
we have,
Let's finish this event,
it's
inshallah, then we will talk.
4:58 and there are 55, okay, people waiting in the waiting
Yeah,
room.
Abdul Salam, did you make your
4:58
Facebook
and there
profile
are
public?
55, okay, people
Yeah,
waiting in
just
the
for confirmation.
waiting
Yeah,
room.
Abdul Salam, did you make your
4:58
Facebook
and there
profile
are
public?
55,
Hmm.
people
Yeah,
waiting in
just
the
for confirmation.
waiting
Yeah,
room.
Abdul Salam, did you make your Facebook profile public?
Hmm.
Yeah, just for confirmation. Yeah, Abdul Salam, did you make your Facebook profile public? Yeah, just for confirmation.
Sister Shabufa is here. Sister Shabufa is here.
I think we can admit all the participants now. It's
Sister Shabufa
4:59.
is here.
I think
I
we can
did.
admit all the participants
Good luck,
now.
Sister
inshallah.
Shuguf is not here?
I'm looking for Sister Shabufa is here.
4:59.
I don't know.
I think
I
we can
did.
admit. She said she'll join at
Good luck,
5 or
Sister Shuguf
inshallah.
around
is not
5.
here? Yeah, okay,
I'm
okay.
looking for
It's
Sister
okay.
Shabufa is here. I don't know.
I did.
She said she'll join at
Sister
5 or
Shuguf
around
is not
5.
here? Yeah, okay,
I'm
okay.
looking for
It's
Sister
okay.
Shabufa is here. I don't know.
Okay, it's fine. It is the time to begin the event, inshallah. Okay, it's fine. It is the time to begin the event. Okay, Assalamu alaikum for those who just joined us. We're still waiting for others to join and then we'll begin our event shortly, inshallah. Okay, Assalamu alaikum for those who just joined us. We're still waiting for others to join and then we'll begin our event shortly, inshallah. Someone's microphone is on. Can you please turn it off? Someone's microphone is on. Can you please turn it off? Sister Nasima, Brother Hanafi, just keep an eye on the participants' mic. Maybe sometimes it's on, but they don't know that, so we have to remind them or just mute the microphone. Probably somebody from our team is following this on Instagram. That's why we hear this noise. Probably somebody from our team is following this on. Okay, I think we can begin our event now, right? Or
Yeah.
shall I wait a couple of minutes? We have
No, no,
now
no, no,
8.
no, no. Admit everyone and start.
Or
Yeah.
shall I wait a couple of minutes? Okay.
No, 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 no. Admit everyone
You
and
can start,
start.
Brother Absabur, and I will be admitting people.
Okay, just wait a minute. Okay, 1 minute more.
You can start, Brother Absabur, and I will be admitting people.
Okay, just wait a minute. Okay, 1 minute more.
You can start, Brother Absabur.
Recording in progress.
Okay, just wait a minute. Okay, 1 minute more.
Recording in
Bismillah
progress.
ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu-Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, thank you very much for joining today's event. And a very warm welcome to all of you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you are joining us today via Zoom or live on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today's event is about providing information about scholarships in Korea. But before I talk about what happens within this hour, I shortly introduce myself. My name is Abdul Sabur and I'm from Afghanistan. I'm the current president of Muslim Student Association in Korea. So I will be moderating and also presenting today's event. First, I will be talking about scholarship opportunities in Korea with a focus and detailed information about professor scholarships in Korea. Following the scholarship event information, we will be also show how you can navigate the website in order to find information to apply for the professor scholarships. And then at the end, we will have a sister who will be sharing her experience of approaching professors based on the instructions that we have in today's event. And after the event is over, inshallah, we'll be also asking you questions while you were listening to the presentation. If you have any questions, just try to write the questions in the chat if you are joining via Zoom, or you can write the questions in the comment sections of Facebook and Instagram. So our team will be delivering the questions to us, and we will try to answer those questions, as many questions as possible. But mashallah, there is a large number of participants joining us today, so maybe it is difficult to answer all of the questions, but we will try to provide answers to the questions which are more relevant, important, and not repeated ones. Okay, so let's begin our event. So as you can see, this information, scholarship, this event is about scholarships in Korea, and this event is being organized and brought to you by Muslim Student Association in Korea, which is shortly called MSAK or MSAK. Brought to you by Muslim Student Association. Just Brother Abdul Salam, can you see the slide changing? Just to confirm. Okay, so now you can see, first I'll introduce about our platform MSAK, and then why we are having this event. I will be also providing a very brief information about, Korea, general information, and why you have to consider Korea for your studies, and then what sort of scholarships are available here in Korea for you to come and benefit from. And then more importantly, we will be talking about professor scholarship and its process, how you can apply for that. We will be also giving some information about the tuition and living expenses, some universities, and also the job opportunities that you can get after you come to Korea and study here, as well as some general tips, and then information about how we can assign the mentors in order to guide you guys if you want to apply for scholarships here in Korea. And then we'll have Q&A session at the end. So basically, Muslim Student Association is a platform, the largest platform for Muslim students here in Korea. It was founded in 2014 with a number of international students. What we do is we try to provide information about education, such as today's event, about Islam, religion, daily life, for example, finding halal food, halal restaurants, praying places, masjids, when also help the students in order to know the ways to come to Korea to study by providing information about scholarships, universities, and also the education system in Korea. In addition, we also work as a community here for students, especially Muslim students living in Korea. So we give hand to each other, help each other, come together and celebrate certain occasions, have different kind of programs. Mainly we have programs about educational programs, academic programs. We have dawah activities and also social and cultural programs that we do throughout the year. And then what about why we decided to hold today's event? As you know, Korea is very popular, especially due to the drama and K-drama, K-pop, this sort of stuff. Now everybody is interested in learning more about Korean language, Korean culture, and want to come to Korea. And the populated Korean cosmetics also another reason why many people want to come. Additionally, we know about the giant electronic companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, many more, which are very famous, and people also know Korea through those kind of electronic companies or products. Um, while there is this kind of popularity of Korean culture society, but there is not enough information about different opportunities in terms of studies, scholarships here in Korea. That's why we decided to have this event today to provide information to students from different parts of the world, so they can know about the scholarship opportunities here in Korea, and then try to apply for those opportunities and maybe end up coming to Korea, and then that would be great. That's the main purpose of doing that. And Korean universities are targeting to attract more international students nowadays. Also, the Korean government are providing funds. So there are a lot of opportunities in terms of studies, job, and also very advanced, lifestyle. So now about where Korea is located. As you know, it is located in the East Asia, and it is a mountainous country, a relatively small country located in the Korean Peninsula. You can see here South Korea, it is, I think, much more smaller than compared to North Korea. And it's bordered with in the north by North Korea, and east, west, south by the sea. So the closest countries to Korea are China, Japan, and Russia. In terms of the size of the area, it covers an area of 100,000 square kilometers. The population is roughly 2 million, 52 million, and then the most famous cities are Seoul, 51, Busan, Jeju, and recently the administrative capital of Korea is located in Sejong City, which is a new city. And then the currency of Korea is Korean won. 10,000 Korean won is $8. So why you have to come, or why you consider coming to Korea in order to study? As I also mentioned in the beginning, there are many opportunities. It is a very advanced, industrialized, and export-oriented country in terms of economy and also in terms of education system. It has a very strong, one of the strongest education system in the world, and most of the universities have very highly qualified scholar, professors, research centers, well-established research centers, and even the professors themselves have their own labs, and they receive funds, projects from different sources, such as the government, institutions or private companies, and also from the local government, and then they create their products, provide services to them, and also address the research problems. One of the another reason why you have to consider studying in Korea is e-governance. It's very convenient to live in Korea, to have access, to different sort of things just by, using your mobile phone. And technology is a very, very big part of the Korean people life. And in addition, there are job opportunities that you can get once you here, especially if you major in IT and engineering, and there is a lot of opportunities if you get a degree from Korean universities. So you can go and apply, study, work in different countries, including the US and Europe. So when you want to get a degree and also enjoy the life in Korea, you have to also learn Korean language. So it is not always easy if you do not know Korean language. That's another reason you have to think about coming to Korea. Like a lot of government funds and projects support entrepreneurs, those who have some kind of creative ideas. They have their own startups. So you can also invest and benefit largely from that. So what scholarships are there? There are many scholarships, but in today's event, we'll be talking about, briefly talking about the Korean government scholarships or Korea Global Scholarship, KGSP, or GKAs. Also, Korean International Cooperation Agency, which is shortly called KOICA. We'll be always talking about some foundation and industry scholarships. Professor scholarship is our main focus, and then there are some scholarships provided by the departments and universities, and also there are scholarships for those who want to major in Korean and also study in Korean up to Ph.D. level, and then medical scholarships we will be providing about this, and then some countries have their own scholarship for the citizens of their, I mean, it's citizens, and then they can come to Korea and study based on their own country's scholarship. First, Korean government scholarship, or GKAs or KGSP. It is a scholarship program run by Korean government, and it offers programs for undergraduate, graduate degrees, and it covers tuition, living expenses, insurance, air ticket, and also provides research support. It provides support for printing your thesis. The application period for this scholarship is from March to April for undergraduate program or level, and October to November for undergraduate ones. So among all the scholarships, this is the most famous one, and also considered to be the best one, because as I mentioned, it provides a lot of advantages and benefits. And it is also easy to get this kind of a scholarship. As I mentioned, if you study really hard, if you yes, it is easy to get, and then the living expenses the government provides quite enough for you to live in Korea. Once you apply for this program, you have to study the Korean language course for 1 year, and then you have to pass the certain level of the proficiency, level 3 out of level 6, and then you can start your master's, undergraduate, or PhD program. And this is available for most of the countries around the world, and mainly in all disciplines, including humanities, engineering, natural sciences, social sciences, and so on. Today's event is mainly about the professor-based scholarship. We'll be talking about it later. Now, university department scholarship. Every university and department in most of Korean universities, they offer their own support, financial support, and scholarship to the students. For that, you have to check, whether the tuition fee, the financial support section of the universities or the respective department to know more about that details. And also you can refer to the supplementary materials, files that we will be providing after this event. After the presentation is over, we'll be sending you all this information, this PPT, and many other files which will help you to find information about scholarships, and also to some other stuff I'll be talking about later. Then another type of scholarship, as I mentioned, is based on the companies, industries, or foundations, such as POSCO, which offers scholarship for mainly Asian countries, students from Asian countries, and it is for master's and PhD levels. It provides tuition, living expenses, and it is 4 semesters. For master's and PhD, it provides section leaders for master's and provides is 1 million students from Asian somehow $900 it has students from Asian somehow, and it also provides health insurance, somehow. And then one more interesting thing about the scholarship is it also provides internship. You can also work in affiliated companies or Korean culture experiences, and you can apply this online. The second, another foundation which offers scholarship is Daewoo Foundation Scholarship. It is for those students who are interested in or want to major in artificial intelligence and also in big data. So for this, you can find the information in both Korean and also English. But for those who are fluent in Korean language, yes, for but not for everyone. If you know Korean language, it's better. So but if you are majoring in some other fields of studies, then maybe you should know Korean. Then both of these scholarships are like you can apply 2 times in a year, in late February or late August throughout the year, 2 times. So both of these scholarships offer about 500,000 per month for a period of 6 months, and it doesn't include tuition fee support. Then another scholarship which is also important, provided by a industry, is Samsung Global Hope Scholarship Program. It is also for the residents of for the citizens of certain countries which are in this list. It provides support to those students who are facing with financial difficulties. Those students who are enrolled in Korean universities, they can also apply for this scholarship. Students with academic excellence, if you have better academic performance, higher GPA, then you can also benefit from this one, along with your Korean language proficiency. And it is open in July. It opens in July and January and also July. And then there are 3 levels: undergraduate, masters, and doctoral programs. But in order to benefit from this scholarship, you have to be recommended by one of the foundation's partner universities. Then some scholarships for the foreign government officials, those who are working in different sectors. Types of scholarship programs for master's degree, PhD degree, and also short-term programs of scholarship programs for master's degree. And then what about if you want to major in medicine? Well, it is a bit difficult if you want to major in medicine, because no medical college scholarships are available for foreigners in Korea. But there are certain options you can try. For example, either you after you come on, or maybe the other option is just maybe you can get admission in one of the Korean universities in medical related fields like pharmacy, biology, zoology, and so on. So the same thing applies for all other scholarships. But if you want to know more about this scholarship and also the ones I previously mentioned, you have to refer and visit to the supplemental information file we will be providing soon after the presentation. Now, what about the Korean studies scholarship, Korean language programs? There are many, there are some scholarships available if you want to major in Korean language, in Korean studies. It is for those who want to study at undergraduate you have to know that most of the scholarships are not only for the Korean language itself. You have to know that one of the Korean government agency, the Academy of Korean Studies, one of the this offers scholarships in different levels, the Academy of Korean Studies in different fields of studies, but the major is generally the focus is on Korean studies, and it opens in the middle of October, the year before you are intending to study, and also in the middle of April. This is the website. Country's priority, by the way. Okay, our main focus is professor scholarship in today's event. Well, this scholarship is available in highest number, and it is also easy to get this scholarship because you can apply directly to the from your own country directly to the university. Most of these scholarships are offered to the students who want to study, who want to do their masters or PhD degrees here in Korea. So the priorities are given to engineering, computer science, natural sciences for these professor scholarships because they have their own labs. They have a lot of projects based on those programs. They can offer scholarship to the students for masters and the living stipend provided for this scholarship is different, maybe based on the lab universities, but there depending on what sort of projects you are working on, what type of universities you are joining. Um, so in order to know how much you will be paid or provided, you have to contact the professors. Um, yeah, if you want to get more paid, then you have to contact professors in certain cities where there is maybe less competition, or professors give higher stipend to attract more international students, and it doesn't cost as much as it costs in some metropolitan cities like Seoul. And the research quality is not maybe that different from the universities or laboratories in cities. There are certain points you have to consider when you want to apply for professor scholarship. 2 points, two scholarships: tuition fee scholarships from the university. If you have higher GPA, it requires actually a higher GPA in order to keep receiving the same amount of like money, tuition fee, and also or if you fail to maintain the certain like GPA, as the professor has already said, or the university, perhaps you will be forced to pay the tuition fee yourself. And then about the living expenses from the professors, professors can maybe reduce or sometimes completely terminate, this opportunity to pay for your expenses if he is not satisfied with your progress, like with your achievement in the lab. But you should not be worried too much about it. It doesn't mean it happens quite often. Um, just if you just be a little bit careful, I think you will be able to maintain the scholarship. And then, so the process, how can you apply for this scholarship? First of all, you have to make a list of the Korean universities, then go to the specific university's website, to the faculty section of the department that you are interested in, which offers a program in your major, and then make a list of the professors, the faculties who are teaching, working in that department and lab. And you can also see that the area of their research is some appealing to you, you are interested in. Then what you have to do next is you have to prepare a CV and then a research proposal. Then you send your CV along with your research proposal to that professor, where you can find the email address, contact details on the website and faculty section of the department that you are targeting. But for many of these scholarships, they ask you to have a higher level of English proficiency. If you have certificates like IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, it does increase your chance of being selected for the scholarship. You to produce, to publish articles and work in the lab. So when a professor replies your email after you send your proposal and CV, then you can also apply for admission to the university, to the target university. But you have to remember that the professor may ask you about to work based on his own may ask you about goals and plans and programs based on he or she has in the lab. So you should not just stick to focusing on your own research proposal and the ideas that you propose. That might be stick to that depends on the professor proposal and the ideas that. And then that might be stick to that depends on the professor. So as we said, make a list of the Korean universities, and then once you made a list of the Korean, so how can you make that, right? As we said, make a list of the Korean universities, and then there are made a list of the Korean. You can find Korean universities and also Korean research labs in different fields of studies on the internet. But more importantly, you can follow this website, Study. A lot of information, not about studies, but different kinds of scholarships, list of universities, number of students, faculties, departments, and also gives you some information about list of life in Korea, number of students, visa admission, and so on. Also gives you some. But there is another way you can also do make a list of universities by using the and so on. World University ranking site like QA's Times Higher Education or Shanghai University ranking site like QS. Then you can also visit the faculty section of the departments of the target university. Or her lab, and you have to check that one as well. As I mentioned at the beginning, I will be shortly showing you how you can go to the website later on after the presentation. This section is over, and then you can also search the professor's name on the Google. You can also see their publication if they interest you. Professor's name, and then you can also read about their profile, the research interest, and also the projects they are currently working on. Read about their profile. Then you can do this, of course, by surfing the Google their profile. Then, so how can you prepare a CV and resume proposal? We have supplementary data material for you. So how can you prepare a CV and which includes templates, examples, supplementary data material? You will be following that as well. So you make your CV research oriented. It should be research oriented. Should be readable and also good looking, so it can attract the professor's attention. And you should keep modifying your CV. Good looking, so it can attract every time you it will be really great. And then try to connect your own work and also your final year project with the professor's area of research or work and projects. So it can also be area of interesting for the professors. So you should try to modify your research proposal, or you can rewrite it completely for the professor. Every time you contact and send it to different professors, and then you can refer to our sample, for research different professors, CV samples, and also research proposal samples to know more about it and to start writing your own. You can also use your own format and use internet reports. And then another step is just send these all documents to the list of the professors you have made. Email your CV, research proposal, as many professors as you can. Even 100 you have made, it is okay. But you should not expect that all of them would be replying to you, because if they see your area of work, your proposal is somewhat relevant to you because his or her area of work and your lab, then definitely, if it is interesting, he or she will contact you. So please send your email to one professor in one university per week, and it is highly recommended that professors from the same department, talk to each other about the emails they receive from the students from different parts of the world. If you just send one email to all of the professors in the same lab or department, then of course they know, and then it can decrease your chance of getting scholarship. Then a guide on how to write the email to the professor and samples are also available that we will be sharing at the end. You should work in order to come to Korea, get a professor scholarship, work in a lab, publish articles. Of course, it requires higher level of English proficiency. So you should also consider working on improving your English proficiency. If possible, get IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC certificates. And then once you receive a response from the professors, you can apply for admission. And when the response is somewhat positive, and then the professor may ask you for the follow-up interview, and then where you can discuss about the tuition fee, the living expenses, how many research articles you are supposed to publish, so other stuff, and how you can join his research team and lab. But before confirming with the professor, it is also recommended that you have to contact Muslim students if possible to that particular department or university to know more about the professor's behavior and whether he or she is friendly, how his or her treatment is with the Muslim students or participants from certain countries. If of course you get definitely all of them are really decent, nice people, but again, just because of just in case, I think it would be really great if you ask and know more about his behavior through a Muslim student. You should also remember that professors may ask you to work on his research, as I mentioned at the earlier, and not your own proposal. It is also important to keep in mind that the professors will also ask you to work on projects that he gets from the Korean government or certain industries or companies or other projects. Then he or she may not support you to work on your own proposal, rather ask to work on that program that he received from the government or another industry. So some tips about so this event is just to guide you and also help you to prepare for the first semester of the next year, which is, we are talking about the spring 2023. The admission process is generally it generally starts in at the end of September or early October. So what you have to do is that you start contacting the professors at least 1 month before the admission process opens, maybe mid to late August. The file and titled scholarship list that we will be sharing at the end of this presentation has information about the list of scholarships provided by Korean universities, and also statement of purpose together with motivation letter file, which you will need it when you want to apply for admission. And then the admission process generally takes requires you to write and also submit these two actually. And then you are advised to complete, update, and define your profile on a certain research websites such as ResearchGate, LinkedIn, some professional website like LinkedIn, and some others. Then why you have to do that? Because professors will be looking your previous work, your area of your publication, area of interest, and your activity, academic engagement. And then about tuition and living expenses, well, generally there are two types of universities or institutes of higher education in Korea, public and private. For those which are private, they are a bit more expensive than the government or the national universities. But in general, the average or the range could be from 2,000 to 7,000 US dollar per semester. Well, it differs according to the measures and also to the university ranking and to the cities where these institutions are located. If you are single, so the expenses which these scholarship provide will be enough, if you receive about 450,000 won per month for just living expenses. Okay, we're not talking about everything. So if you are married and you want to bring your family to Korea, maybe then you need more than 600,000 won per month. If you have children, then of course it requires more than that. Some university names are provided here: Seoul National Universities, Songking Kwon, Yonsei, Kai, Sinchon, Inha, and these are the university names, but there are many more. We will be providing their list with their scholarship opportunities later. Okay, once you come to Korea, once you study here, so what kind of employment opportunities are here or beyond? Then of course, there is a very high chance if you study here in Korea, you can get jobs in different fields, especially if you are majoring in IT and semiconductor or computer science, AI. There is high demand, and you can definitely get jobs. Other fields also have their own job market and also perspectives, but they are not that common and famous as the ones in IT and technology fields or engineering. If you have a business, especially with tech business idea, creative ideas, startup programs, Korean government provides support for those kind of individuals in terms of funding, providing visa, and even providing space where you can work and start your startup, and as well as networking with other similar people. Even provides you legal help and consultation. You can also become a researcher at one university in a lab in Korea if you come and study here. It is very well paid actually in terms of salary. Maybe it is between at least minimum $2,000 to $3,000 per month. It can be more than that. And again, it depends on whether you are doing your undergraduate level, master's degree, PhD, but mainly it is for the PhD and master's degree programs. Some general tips. In order to know more about studies scholarships in Korea, you can follow these links, platforms. One of them is our own Facebook group, where you can join. We can write your questions, you can text, you can send message to us. You can also follow, search for your own country's Facebook group. I mean, those students, including those students currently studying in Korea. You can search, you can find like student association of that particular country or community. You can find that one. Also, the target university's Muslim community is also another space or platform where you can also get a lot of information about scholarships, and not only scholarships, about you know, general information about life in Korea. So now, as you have noticed, we said we will be providing one-to-one guidance to the participants. Mashallah, a lot of people have registered. So many people are, as I can see, 142 people are joining us via Zoom now, and many people are following us live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So for your information, first of all, you have to remember that it is difficult to provide guidance to all of you. For those, we will try to provide the guidance to as many people as possible. But if you follow, refer to the files that we will be providing after the presentation, hopefully you will get a very clear understanding of how you can apply, what kind of scholarship opportunities are here. And then we will be doing matching or assigning the mentors in order to provide you guidance about, you know, how you can apply, like step-by-step guidance to apply to professor scholarships, maybe within 1 week. And then, but as I said, it is limited because we do not have a lot of mentors to provide you help. So we choose a certain number of participants. So that's the problem that you have to keep in mind. So one mentor will be helping 2 participants at least in terms of how they can apply, you know, step-by-step guidance. So they will be providing information about the scholarship application and also admission process. You should also remember that MSAK is not, by providing this scholarship, we are not guaranteeing that your mentee will be able to secure a scholarship opportunity from his or her university or from certain universities that you are targeting. That's not the purpose. He or she will be spending 1-2 hours of his time during a week to help you apply, know the procedure step by step in terms of application, information, and so on. And about the visa, the participants, they have to get information for visa process from their own countries, embassy, or I mean Korean embassy in your country, and you can also join our Facebook groups where you can write on our Facebook groups. For example, I am from this particular country, I want to know more about the visa procedure or process. So perhaps you can find people from your own country replying to your comment and questions. Thank you very much for your time to listen to the presentation. So now, so this is the end of the first section, which was the presentation or information about the scholarship. And now I'll be, you can write your questions in the chat. You can write your question in the comment of Facebook, Instagram, and then we'll be asking those questions later on. But for now, I'll stop this, but I'll be sharing something else, like how can you go to the website and okay, yes. Brother Absalam, just confirm that you can see the my browser. Thank you. So as you can see, I said that one way to make a list of the universities is just using certain world university rankings. For example, QA is one of the most famous one. So you just go there, choose the location. Let's say South Korea. Okay. The moment you choose the location, you can see the list of universities appear here. Seoul National Universities. If you go, you can learn more about that. So this is one way you can make the list of universities to target and learn more about the scholarship opportunities. The second one, as I said, study in Korea. When you go to the website, you can find a lot of information about different kinds of scholarships, and you can go to this section of university and college, and then you can see that search university and college, and then this appears, this list appears. You can, yes, so this is what will appear. You can see this list of universities here, many pages. You can also write more specifically. You can also write the courses here, like the region, which part of the country, and whether there is scholarship support. English lectures are provided, or only the classes are in Korean. Dormitories, a lot of useful information will be also provided here, not only about degree programs, but you can also see short-term programs. Then, for example, so this is one of the universities, SKKU, Songkyunkwan University. And then how to navigate, how to find the faculties or information about the professors. Go to the academics, you can see the, for example, graduate programs. And then once you click on graduate programs, so let's see what appears here. So this is the list of the graduate programs. And then I go down, scroll down, and I can see, for example, engineering, for example, and then beneath you can see the departments. You can also see here, this is the home page of this particular department. If you click there, then another tab opens, where you can see find information about the professors, their projects, and well, this is in Korean, but you can also change the language. You can also find many more which are in English, not only in Korean. So that's how you can find the professors' contact details, the projects in the lab. Okay. Yes. And then this file it shows you how can you create your CV more research oriented. And then there is this sample of writing email to the professor as well. You can follow this information and templates, supplementary details to hopefully apply for scholarships. Okay. Okay, so that's all for me now. The Sister Shugufa, I think if you are there. So,
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, so now I'm going to invite a sister who is also part of our team, a member of our team actually, controlling MSAK page. She followed the same procedure that I explained in order to apply for professor scholarship. So let's hear more from her. So sister, can you please share your experience of how you approach to the professors and what responses you received?
Assalam-O-Allikum, everyone. So I've completed my undergraduate program in chemistry, and that was in 2015. And I wanted to apply for masters, that too through a professor scholarship, where I can get a complete, scholarship for tuition fee as well as the living expenses. So like here, brother Mustafa has actually guided me first to make my CV. And as per my GP is not good, like it's 2.3, 38 out of 5 point. So my GP is not good. Still, like the brother guided me to make my CV. One of my advantage is like my Korean language. Like I have topic level 5, and I've continuously worked after my graduation. So I have more than 5 years of work experience. So accordingly, I made my CV, and then I went to the university websites And similarly, how the brother Abdul Zahur was telling that how to go to the professor's website, lab website, and search how what they are working on. So I, studied about the same, and I have sent more than 100 emails. I had a very limited time because right now the fall semester, the admissions is going on, and I just started sending emails like 2 weeks before that. Usually how
Yes.
brother Abdul Saud said, like, you have to send emails like 1 month before, but I had
Yes.
a very less time, and I sent
Yes.
more than 100 emails. I still got
Mashallah.
3 replies. Yeah, I still
Okay.
got 3 replies, and one of the replies I got from the Kumo University, from the electrochemistry lab of Professor Oil1, who is
Yes.
working with the US Department of Energy to produce fuel cells. So I'll tell you more about what did I do after I got the response from the professor. So professor gave me one research paper, and he told me to do a paper review, a PPT of 5 to 10 minutes. So when my interview was going on, the first thing he asked me about was my introduction and my background. And then he asked me about my motivation, like why do I want to study in Korea, why I chose Korea and his lab. And then lastly, he told me to give the presentation, the paper review. And after the paper review, he also asked me like if I have some questions regarding the lab or regarding the university. And then the interview was finished like in around half an hour, and professor was like kind of really happy at the end of the interview. He told me to have a positive attitude towards the result as well.
Inshallah. Wish you best of luck. Inshallah. We're praying that you will get scholarship. Inshallah. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. So that's what we were just explaining, how you can approach. So what sort of expectation the professors have from you, and then there will be, after sending email, if it is appealing to the professors, of course they will be asking you for an interview where you can discuss more about, maybe you, as in the case of Sister Shugufa, she received an assignment from the professor to make sure. So hopefully she will get a scholarship. So now about the questions, mashallah, many questions, I think, right? Brother Abdul Salam, he is also one of our members in MSAK. He will be answering some of your questions. Meanwhile, he is, controlling our live sessions on Instagram and Facebook. So let's see. MSAK team, can you please share the questions here? Maybe I should be.
Brother Absabor.
Yes.
Yeah, just for the questions that as I see in the chat, there is 2 questions that is repeated a lot.
Yes.
One of them is about the GPA. They were asking like if we don't have GPA like enough, is it possible to get scholarship or no? Maybe you can answer. Like from my own experience as a KGSP student, for KGSP, we have a certain GPA that you have to have that GPA in order to get the KGSP. But it doesn't mean that all other scholarships are same. So they just need to go and check on the website of the universities. They will find all the condition for the GPA condition. And the second question, everyone was asking about, we're asking about the Korean language. So the Korean language only for the KGSP is like obligation. We have 1 year of Korean language that you have to complete it. It's like obligated by the program, but it's not for other, like Kwaika, for example, they don't do the Korean language. Or professor scholarship, they don't. Depends, as you explained, depends on this, the major. And most of the scientific majors, they do not need Korean language. They just need English test, and they can check again in the university website. These 2 questions were repeated a lot, and maybe Brother Absalam can share another questions. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing the question. And also you partly answered the questions. I think for the professor scholarships, GPA is not always the case or the requirements. Rather, it is your publication, your area of research. If it is something relevant to the professor's lab and research projects, and if you can, write a very interesting and how can I say, a very good research proposal, that matters. GPA is not always the case or the requirement for professor scholarships, as far as I know. So, Brother Abdul Salam, if I'm not, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Okay. So I will be answering about the question about Korean language, right? Korean language program. Yeah, for knowing Korean language is a plus, of course. You do benefit from it while living in Korea, and also if you think of getting a job after you graduate from here. But it is not one of the requirements as it is for KGSP program. For professor scholarship, it is not, because they mainly focus on your English proficiency so you can publish articles. Yes. Let's go to the questions. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, for undergraduate. Yeah. Yeah, because they asked you to work in a lab. So that is the point.
Hello. My question is that now the most of the deadlines of the university has gone. So how we will know that when we will get admission, and if we will get the acceptance letter from one from professor, okay, and he is from the other department. So is it matter or not?
Brother Salam, can you answer this question?
No, like my question is like I have get a recommendation letter from the professor of artificial intelligence, okay, and I have applied for the computer engineering department. So is it matter or not? Yeah, when
brother.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because we do not have much time and there are many people asking questions, and it is difficult to answer questions orally. So if you can just to ask questions, so if you can just write the questions, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible, and the most relevant will be inshallah answered. About the request whether we can share the recorded session to the participants, we will not be able to share this via email probably, but we will be uploading this on our YouTube channel, and then we will provide the link where you can inshallah watch the session and if you have missed any part.
Hi, Assalam-O-Allikum. So this is Katja. Basically, my question is that I have completed my master's and my bachelor's, and the master's I did was in human resource management with the CGPA of 3.87. So I want to know, I don't have any research experience. Neither did I do my research in master's, nor did I did it in my bachelor's. So I'm concerned whether there are opportunities available other than research, because I am working in corporate world. I have experience of about 7 to 8 months in HR. So that's basically my question.
Go ahead, please. I think I was following the questions in the chat. I just want to remind one thing, Brother Absalam, okay? Maybe it is difficult to take questions orally from all the participants. I don't know how many people are raising their hands. If they can just write the questions in the chat, because I think it will be a little bit time consuming. Yeah, so it will be time consuming. Just, yeah, you go ahead and answer this question. To answer a question from Uzma Zoya, I think she's from India, about PhD opportunities in English in Korea. Actually, I'm doing my PhD in TESOL. So, well, for humanities and social sciences, there are not many scholarships available in the lab. I mean, professor scholarship, but you can apply through some other foundations or programs like Korean government one. Yes, in Korean government scholarship, they do ask for the GPA. You should have certain, I think, yes, 80% GPA is required if you want to apply for that. But I also do understand the different grading system in your country. But definitely, you can just keep looking those the information we provide and the list of universities. Inshallah, you will be able to find some university, yes, which offers regardless of your GPA. And then, can we study biology and Korean in the same time? Well, I don't know what you mean by that. If you want to major in Korean, I think not. But if you want to learn Korean language while you are majoring in biology, of course, that is not an issue. But you have to make sure that whether the department that you are working, studying in the lab provides any kind of support for your Korean language, or you have to pay from your own pocket. The medium of study, well, generally the medium of study in it differs. In engineering, maybe computer science, it is business, international relations, it is mostly English, but it has to do again with universities, cities. But overall, the medium of instruction in most of the universities in Korea are in Korean. But if you are coming to professor scholarship, you don't have to worry about that. I think it's okay. You will receive instruction in English. And the materials are, of course, in English. For those, for the question whether he or she can get a undergraduate scholarship while he or she is on his second year exam, then maybe you can come as an exchange student, but make sure that your university has a kind of exchange program with a particular university in Korea. And then can we apply for masters while we are doing ACCA? I don't know what does ACCA differ. Really sorry. Okay, so whether someone can, a commerce student can study psychology for a graduation program, I think that again has to do with the department requirements. You have to check because each university has different like admission requirements, and you have to check that with the professor and department. Yeah, KGSP, the main focus of today's event is professor scholarship. So for KGSP, you can just go to the Study in Korea website. You can learn about KGSP in details there. And then whether someone, I think I answered that question. Some labs, they provide Korean language, free Korean language course, some universities. In some cases, they offer you the financial support so you can study in other place. Then it's up to you. You have to talk with your professors if you can do both of them at the same time. Yeah, so we'll be sharing this information, assignment of the mentors via email, inshallah. Hopefully we'll be informed, and then you can communicate with the mentors once we are done with the matching profiles. About dentistry, if you have noticed in the medical scholarship section in our presentation, there are not many medical scholarship opportunities in Korea, but for that you can come as for a kind of fellowship, or maybe you can apply to certain universities, but there is not many scholarships available for medical studies in Korea, I think. PhD scholarship in English, yes, there are, but they are limited, I think. For example, Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Hankuk University of Foreign Studies is one of the universities which offers PhD in English. Then it is not based on professor scholarship. I think many questions, I cannot follow all these questions. Brother Absalam, I think we are also receiving questions in the comments. So
Brother Absabur,
yes,
there is a lot of like questions about like they're asking about majors like marketing, BBA, and many majors. So we just want to say, there is all majors in scholarship, whether KGSP or professors. All you have to check is the university and the website of the university, and you can find all the majors.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we cannot answer all of your questions in today's session. It is, you know, beyond our time and limit. So we just want you to yeah,
I just want to add, they are all asking the undergrad degree. Actually, the undergrad degree, they study in Korean language, even though even if it's like a scientific major, like our brother Hanafi, even though he's studying mechanical engineering, but still he has classes in Korean and classes in English. So for undergrad, usually like 90% Korean language is important.
I should also remind to those who are interested in studying and majoring English. In my case, I'm doing my PhD in TESOL, English. The language of instruction is in English, and everybody speaks in Korean. Okay, so that's also one thing you have to consider if for those who want to come to study in English in Korea.
Yes, true. The only way you will not use the Korean language if you come for PhD or a postdoc, where you are going to do research fully in English, but undergrad like probably is gonna be in Korean. So.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Well, it is not compulsory to have IELTS or TOEFL certificate for all majors and programs. But you have to check that with your professor and then target
Hello,
university.
brother. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, brother, we are just listening to you. You said you have a question.
Okay. Yeah, you just have said that we have to send just few emails to the professor, and we have to apply and we have to send these kind of emails just before a month of admission. So for just applying, sending few emails to the professor, we cannot be able to send a lot of mails, like up to 100 emails. So how can it can be sent more and more emails to the same university professors?
No, it's not to the same university professor. You can target different university, the same area of study, the same department, maybe different university professors in the same department. You have to check their profile. We said you have to go to the website and then check your profile.
Okay, so, and the second question, I understood, sir. And the second question was the format of the CV, because we have to meet the requirements of the CV.
Yeah, we will be
can
providing.
You please send the format?
Sure. No, we'll be sharing that template, and with the example, you can use that. No worries. Yes, so one of the participants answering a question, if you know, for those who are asking about undergraduate scholarships, if you know Korean language course, if you know Korean language, then it's probably can get a scholarship from some universities or foundation like Samsung Global Hope scholarship program. And how you can contact Muslim student from the same department? Well, you can again, refer to our Facebook page. You can ask a question, name your university that you want to target or contact, or you can just search on Facebook. Definitely, you will find if your country's student community here in Korea. Okay. Brother Mustafa, are you there? Do you have any comments, anything to share about the questions? Can you talk now? And I think we're also towards the end of the session. But I know it is not enough to answer all of your questions, by the way. It is not enough, some people joined in the middle or towards the end of the presentation. So even for those who joined at the beginning, there are many questions, remain unanswered. For that, I think you can just, use first refer to our supplementary materials, the files that we provide, and then you can also use Facebook group of MSAK. You can ask your questions also there regarding scholarships, your country's like students community or association, and also visa issues, halal food, and so many things. So group members will definitely respond to your comment and questions. For Lena Poktir, you were asking if you applied for Korea undergraduate degree in Korea and international studies. Is there a chance to find a professor scholarship? I'm not really sure, but just try, okay? You can contact the professors as we just provided the instruction. Just send an email, you know. But if you know Korean language, if you have a like high proficiency of English language, you can. For KGSP students, like program, you can directly contact the university. You can also apply through the Korean embassy in your country. That's also an option to think, to consider. And in some cases, if you were a medium of instruction in your previous study, like program, like let's say you did your master's degree somewhere, the medium of instruction was in English, probably sometimes they don't ask you to provide, you know, certificate, because you have already studied an English medium program. Brother Firuz, we can hear you, by the way. Yeah, okay. Duolingo, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Brothers, sisters, thank you very much for joining today's event. I know you have a lot of questions. We do love to provide more information, but you know, we are running out of time. We began our session early, before like nearly it has been 1.5 hours. So it is difficult to keep the session going on. Then we have to end the session and wrap it up now. We do appreciate your time, your interest to join this. Inshallah, we do hope that you benefited from today's event, got some information about different scholarships, especially professor scholarships, and then hopefully you will apply following our instructions and the files that we will be sharing with you. And who knows, maybe we will meet you guys one day here in Korea and you will be contributing to MSAK, hopefully, inshallah. So that's our expectation. Just keep trying, okay, again and again. Then you can contact us always. You can follow us on Facebook. Brother Hanafi, if you can just share the Facebook link, Instagram link here in the chat, just kindly go and follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram page. And also you can write to us via email. Inshallah, we'll try to respond, get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah, to remind, to add, we will be having the same program, inshallah, at the end of this year, maybe in November or December. Again, you know, so that is also ahead of time for the spring semester. So you will definitely need more information, and you can share this information with others also. It's totally fine. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Once again, we do appreciate your interest. Do go to our Facebook page, Instagram page, like it, and then we will be updating. We will be like posting about upcoming events there, so you can get to know about our overall activities and also other programs, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. So now we are at the end of today's session. I once again hope that you benefited from the information we provided. We will be sharing all the supplementary materials with you. I would like to take this time to thank MSAK teams, especially Brother Mushtaba, Sister Iman, Brother Hanafi, Sister Aurora, who effortlessly, like with a lot of efforts and tirelessly, they worked while they were busy with their final exams and final projects and thesis. But they prepared the posters, registration link, communicated with the participants, coordinated with all of them, arranged today's meeting. On behalf of MSAK, I would like to thank all of them, and Jazakallahu khairan, and may Allah reward for your efforts. Okay, so that's it for today's event. Hope to see you guys soon next time. Then have a very good evening. Those who are in Korea or nearby Korea.